Good morning, students. Good morning, Eduk 1 students, especially to my BSed Mathematics second year. And today I am going to present with you the lesson 7, which is about Kohlberg's stages of moral development. This is your teacher in this subject, Eduk 1. So the following intended learning outcomes are: you must have explained the stages of moral development. Next, analyzed a person's level of moral reasoning based on his responses to moral dilemmas. Third, cited how the theory of moral development can be applied to your work as a teacher later on. So what is about this Kohlberg's theory? What is about the theory of Kohlberg's about the stages of moral development? So this theory is confronted by situations where they need to make moral decisions. They exercise their own ability to use moral reasoning. So this theory proposes that there are 3 levels of moral development, such as the preconventional, conventional, and postconventional. And each of these level is split into 2 stages. And later on, I am going to discuss it with you. So Kohlberg suggested that people move through these stages in a fixed order, and that moral understanding is linked to cognitive development. So what is this cognitive development that focuses on the theory of Kohlberg? So it is a theory that focuses on the thinking when one decides whether a behavior is right or the behavior is wrong. Now, this theory is established that the reasoning behind the decision was a greater indication of moral development than actual answer by using children's responses to a series of moral dilemmas. So, in this discussion, meaning that Kohlberg uses this theory, which emphasizes on how one decides to respond to a moral dilemma. Okay? Next, this theory was agreed with Piaget's theory of moral development in principle, but wanted to develop his ideas further. So, Kohlberg uses Piaget's storytelling technique to tell people stories involving moral dilemmas. Okay. Also, in each case, he presented a choice to be considered. For example, between the rights of some authority and the needs of some deserving individual who is unfairly treated. Okay, that is one example about this theory of Kohlberg in terms of moral dilemma. So as what I have told you a while ago, there are 3 levels of moral reasoning. So each level has 2 substages. First is preconventional, second is conventional, and third is postconventional. Each level has 2 substages. People can only pass through this level in order listed. Each new stage replaces the reasoning typical of the earlier stage. Not everyone achieves all the stages. So, again, now about the 3 stages of moral development are first, level 1, which is preconventional, wherein this preconventional morality is the first stage of moral development and lasts until approximately age of 9. At the preconventional level, children don't have a personal code of morality, and instead, moral decisions are shaped by the standards of adults and the consequences of following or breaking the rules. For example, if an action leads to punishment, it must be bad. And if it leads to a reward, so children think that their action were good. So, meaning authority is outside the individual, and children often make moral decisions based on the physical consequences of their actions. So, children would rather think that what they did was not good because they were given punishment. And children were later also realized that they did good because they were given a reward. So their moral decision was based on their physical consequences of action. So what are the substages? As what I have told you, in every level, there are 2 stages. So what is the stage 1 of the preconventional stage, substages? One is obedience and punishment orientation. What is this all about now in stage 1? What is about obedience and punishment orientation? So the child or individual is good in order to avoid being punished. Then if a person is punished, then they must have done wrong. That is the first stage. The second stage is about individualism and exchange. So at this stage, children recognize that there is not just one right view that is handed down by the authorities, but there are different individuals who also have their different viewpoints. That is individualism and exchange. Second level is the conventional morality. What is conventional morality? It is the second stage of the moral development, and it is characterized by an acceptance of social rules concerning right and wrong. So, at the conventional level, most adolescents and adults, we begin to internalize the moral standards of valued adult role models. Authority is internalized but not questioned, and the reasoning is based on the norms of the group to which the person belongs. So, meaning that a social system stresses that the responsibilities of relationships as well as social order is seen as a desirable and a must. So, therefore, it influences our view of what is right and what is wrong. Okay? So what are these 2 stages of conventional substages? Okay, what are the 2 substages? I mean, there are stage 3, that is good interpersonal relationships. What is this about good interpersonal relationship? This is when the child or an every individual is good in order to be seen as being a good person by others. Okay? So meaning that a person is only good because it is being seen by others as he is a good person. Therefore, answers relate to the approval of others. Because they are seen to be a good person, so meaning um, other people also would also give approval that this person is good because he is seen as a good person, and he is also at the same time a good person. Next, stage 4 is maintaining the social order. So, in maintaining the social order, the child or an individual is aware of the wider rules of society. He is aware of his rule. His role in the society becomes wider. So, judgments concern obeying the rules in order to uphold the law to avoid guilt. That is about maintaining the social order. Next, the third level is post-conventional morality. It is the third stage of moral development, and it is characterized by an individual's understanding of universal ethical principles. These are abstract and ill-defined, but might include the preservation of life at all costs and the importance of human dignity. So, individual judgment is based on self-chosen principle. Okay? The moral reasoning is based on the individual rights and justice. So according to Kohlberg, this level of moral reasoning is as far as the most people get. Okay? So only 10 to 15% are capable of the kind of abstract thinking necessary for stage 5 and 6. And that is to say that most people take their moral values from those around them, and only a minority think through ethical principles for themselves. Okay. So, what are the two stages of post-conventional morality? There are stage 5, social contract and individual rights. So what is this social contract and individual rights? Rights, I mean. So this is when the child or every individual becomes aware that while rules or while laws might exist for the good of the greatest number, there are times when they will work against the interest of particular individuals. So the issues are not always clear out. For example, in Heinz' dilemma, the protection of life is more important than breaking the law against stealing. So an example is about such dilemma that where you are going to really protect the life, which is more importantly than breaking the law against stealing. Okay. Stage 6 is universal principles. In this stage, people have developed their own set of moral guidelines, which may or may not fit the law. The principle apply to everyone. So example, human justice, human rights, and equality. The person will be prepared to act to defend these principles, even if it means going against the rest of society in the process and having to pay the consequences of disapproval and or imprisonment. Kohlberg doubted few people reach this stage. Okay, so that is all for Kohlberg. So this time, I want you to answer these 10 questions now about Kohlberg's moral development. These are situations in which you are going to identify at what stage of moral development is shown in every situation. Okay? There are 10 questions, 10 situations. I want you to answer. Your answer will be posted in our Google Classroom. Okay, another, you are going to make a reflection from the Kohlberg stages of moral development. You are going to just continue the statement. I realized that. You are going to make a reflection. Okay, God bless everyone and good luck.